Hi guys. Um, Today's video is going to be about happiness. So life's been interesting, and it's been hard when when you find out your baby's not going to be like everybody else's baby. It can be, depressing, and it can shift your mindset and kind of create negativity. So I'm just going to tell you my personal experience in hopes that it can help you with your life and with what you're going through. As I've said in my other videos, this channel is about it's for parents or family members or friends who have somebody who's disabled in their life. For me specifically is my daughter, my baby. And I just want to help you guys go through it because I know it's hard, and sometimes you can feel very alone and very depressed. And because I've been through all of that, I'm hoping that what I've been through can help you get over what you're going through right now. And um, so I have a lot of, I brought a lot of stuff that I'm going to show you in the video. And some of you might think I'm crazy, but this is just what keeps me sane. So I'm sharing it with you. I'm hoping it helps you. Um, and if you have some tips for me, share them with me too, please. Where do I start? I'll start with this. This is my 2023 planner. It is dirty. It is damaged. It is written on, but it is used because this is important to me because it's really brought me through a lot. In 2023, we found out that our daughter was disabled, and throughout all of 2023 and up to now, we don't have a diagnosis for her. So sometimes when you're going through something, God will answer your prayers instantly. Other times you're just kind of waiting, and that can really be hard on your heart and your mind and your attitude and the way that you live your life. So where do I start? Where I am at now, and from what I've learned, is that you have to take it day by day. And I know that sounds simple, and my mom actually gave me this advice, but she kind of broke it down for me a little more. And she said, you know what? Sometimes you just have to celebrate every hour, every couple of minutes, and say, you know what? I did it. And another hour went by, and I'm okay. And I'm taking a step forward towards what I'm trying to accomplish. So Pastor Stephen Burdick from Elevation Church, I listen to him a lot. Love his sermons. He's helped me a lot, and he has no idea. He doesn't even know who I am, but I'm sharing this with you because his sermons helped me. And what I've learned from him is celebrating the little wins. So, it's so hard when people tell you like, oh, you need to have faith and don't give up and pray and like very generic things that are kind and they come from a good place, but they're not living your life and they don't know what you're going through. They don't, see your tears at night or when you're driving in the car just crying or even in the shower. I'm telling you, because that's what I do and I still do it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you need to let this stuff out. If you keep it inside, it boils up and you just have this energy. Your family feels it. And I don't know. I know I'm going back and forth. There's so much I want to share with you guys, but ultimately you have to celebrate the little wins. So for me, in the beginning, I was probably crying most of the day, and I tried not to do it in front of my family, but like I would just go in the bathroom and I would cry, or I'd take a shower and I would just cry because I didn't know what was wrong with my child. She was born normal, and then all of a sudden she just couldn't move, and then her body started getting stuck, and then she started having health issues, and it felt like every day was getting worse, was getting harder, and I didn't have answers. And I went to all these different doctors, and I'm telling you that this is what it was, but this is still what it is. We've seen so many doctors, and we don't know what's wrong with my child. And so I'm telling you this because I've been there and because I'm there right now. What I've learned in this waiting season for God, you can choose to dwell on what's not going right in your life, or you can choose to celebrate and thank Him for the things that are going well in your life. For example, today Flora got her wheelchair stroller, and that's a big win for me, and I'm really thankful to Him for that, because I had to go through so much to get this for her. And another thing that happened today was that I talked to a surgeon who I was hoping would set an appointment to, get these things removed that's going on with her. But instead now, there's a little bit of a delay. So I can choose to dwell on it, or I can celebrate the fact that, hey, we saw him. We're one step closer to getting our surgery. We have our stroller wheelchair. She likes it. And God is good because He provides for you in the season that you're in. So there's nothing that He's not going to put you through that He's not going to have your back on in that season. So for me, Flora was outgrowing her stroller, which I had her in a dog stroller because of the way her legs are formed. They didn't make strollers wide enough for her. So I had literally, my husband and I had to find this dog stroller on Amazon and modify it so that our daughter could fit in it. And she has even outgrown that. And maybe like a month would be left and she wouldn't fit in it anymore. But look, God is good. He provided for me. And now she has something to sit in and enjoy her life in until the next season. So instead of me thinking, oh, well, how long is she going to fit in this stroller for? Time is limited and what is the next step? Which I used to do. I noticed that I would start planning and I would start researching and I would start doing all of these things for the future, and I would want to prepare for it. And that's good to a certain point. I would just obsess over it and it would give me anxiety. Knowing what I know now is I spent all these hours and all these days being anxious about things that I didn't have to, because God was going to take care of me anyway. So if He put you in this situation, He's going to be there for you the entire time and hold your hand. So you can choose to dwell on negative things, or you can just thank Him every day. For me, saying it out loud, it really helps me, because sometimes your mind goes to a place where it's like, oh, really negative thoughts and just really bringing you down. And sometimes you just have to say out loud, I trust you, Jesus. And for me, that just does something. It just breaks that cycle. And then you're like, okay, reset. And you start to be more positive. So that's been helping me. Another thing, back to the calendar. See how I'm going on a rant? I'm trying to help you, but there's a lot going on in this head. The reason why I chose a calendar, or how it ended up happening, is obviously a planner. It's got every day of the month. So what I would do, because Flora has probably 7 doctors. She's got physical therapists, occupational therapists, she's got speech, she's got a stimulator who comes to the house, she's got a neurologist, a genetic doctor, just her primary, who we love and is amazing, and all these doctors. I write things down, because when I write things down, I feel like it's out of my head and I have a plan. So I wrote all of her appointments. January, boom. Good, right? It's good for you. And then you can help your family. So my husband travels a lot and he's going on all these flights and he wants to be here for the important things. So another thing I did that helped my family and is helping us is I got this really cute, huge calendar. And this is in my kitchen. And everybody can look at it and they know if something's going on and they know to be here, right? Or my daughter, she wants to go somewhere. Hey, Flora's got a doctor appointment that day. We can't go. That's another thing that's going to help you. So what ties into this is at the end of every month, or day by day, most planners, they have areas where you can just write what you're going to do that day. In that area, I would write notes. And what I would do is I would go ahead and throw on Elevation Church, and I would start to write. And I would write and I would write. I would take notes, because if I would hear something that helped me, I would write it down, and then it would stick with me. And the beautiful thing about this, and why I kept this, is because when I'm having a hard time and I don't know who to call, I don't know what to do, I prayed and I don't feel anything, I just feel empty, I just feel depressed, I like to look back at my calendar and I think, okay, well, let's go through February. Okay, you are more than able. You know, God is greater. With God, all things are possible. You inherit God's promises through faith and patience. Help me to never lose wonder of what you are able to accomplish. Like, these are just little notes that I wrote down, and they might not make sense to you, because I know what the pastor was preaching about when I wrote this down, but it helps me go back and think like, dang, I went through all this stuff in February. I had an appointment for this, and I remember how nervous I was for that, and look how God ended up providing, and things worked out. Or, oh, I know I've been feeling kind of depressed, but it's telling me here. I'm just randomly skimming just to give you an example. I sought the Lord and he heard and he answered. Sometimes you have to have ugly faith. 7-second delay, which means before you're going to say something bad or negative, wait 7 seconds, think about it. Is this going to help you get closer to what you're trying to accomplish and who you want to be? If it is, go ahead and say it and do it. If it doesn't, stop and do something different. Shift your focus. So these are really good notes that I took for myself, for nobody else, for myself. So when you're having a hard time, it's cool to go back. Like, I can go back a whole year now and say how much I've grown and how much closer I've gotten to God. So I'm keeping this. This is my mini one. Now, 2024, I'm not messing around. I got a huge one. And same thing. So I have, what's going to happen that month. What am I going to do? Okay. And then in the back, how God is going to help me get there. So this is awesome. I hope it helps you. It helped me a whole bunch. This is a devotional Bible study. The original book is Jesus Calling. It's a devotional. And it's a really small, cute little orange book. And what I mean by devotional is it's got maybe like a paragraph that you read every day. And it's got the whole year. It's got January 25th. And then, you read a little part. And at the end, it tells you what you read. And it describes, it helps you better your relationship with God, because it's more personal. I love that. And I've been reading that even before, all of this happened. Even when I was like in college, I would read it. And it's cool because I would get a bunch of, I would get a book, and every day I would just write in it. I would write in the book because it's your book, right? It's for you. Go ahead and write in it. And then another year I would get another book. And then every year you will read the same passage and it'll mean something different to you, because your situation is different than the year it was before. And it's cool to look back, like I said earlier, and be like, wow, I thought that was the hardest part of my life, and look how much I've grown or what I learned from it. So that's a good one. This is the next level up. This is the Bible study. So this helps you, like, I would say it's helped me know God on a deeper level, personal. And when you see him differently, like, and he's not like this angry God who punishes you and like hates you every time you do something bad, and you're undeserving of all these things. Like, sometimes the world makes God seem evil, but he's not, obviously. But so it'll give you something to read, and then it'll ask you, how did you feel when you read that, and what do you think they thought, and how do you think God felt, and picture yourself in front of him, and what would you ask him, right? So it gets like really deep, and this has helped me a lot. So I love this. I'm gonna link this stuff in the comments or whatever you call it. Another thing is, this is silly, but it really helps me. This is my huge board. And this is in my room. When I wake up, it is one of the first things I see. And it says, choose joy, God has a plan. It looks backwards on the screen, but it's not. I don't know. This means a lot to me because it's telling you you can either choose to be happy or you can choose to dwell in sadness, decide to have a good day, and know that God has a plan for you because it's not in your hands, it's His. So enjoy your day, make the most of it, and let Him guide you. Small, but it helps me. I look at it and I know what I need to do that day. That's like organizational stuff. Another thing is I invested in some AirPods, and because I'm doing a million things at once, what you put into your mind is so important because it's just how you view the world, it's how you view yourself. So don't put negative thoughts and energy. And even like if you've got to cut off some people right now, that is okay. You got to do what's best for you. For me, my circle is tiny. My rocks are my husband and my mom, and that's it. And I got amazing friends. I love them all, but sometimes you just got to focus on you and do what's best for you. And right now, all the energy I have is for them, and that's it. And my children, obviously, but I got off track. I lost my train of thought. So much going on. Anyways, or maybe not. I guess it's important and I should talk about it. Who's your rock and who do you surround yourself with and who can you be vulnerable with? Um, my husband and I have been married and been best friends for a while, and I can tell you that I love him more every single day, and we grow closer every single day. And this situation has brought us closer, and sometimes we just cry together, or we get to, you know, celebrate the wins together. And this has really been a journey, and I love him so much, and he's really helped me. And sometimes I just look at him and I just start crying, and he's like, okay, he hugs me, and he knows why I don't have to say anything. He's my best friend. He loves Flora so much and me so much, and he just shows us, like that he'll do anything for us, and I really admire that about him, and I think that's why I love him so much. But find your person. Find your person that you can confide in, that you can call at any time, that you can vent to, who makes you feel better. It's always good to pray to God. There's no time limit, right? And there's no, you won't say like, oh, it's like 5 a.m, I shouldn't call him. Like, God will hear you anywhere, wherever you are in the world. And sometimes you don't even want to talk to people. So if you don't have a person, that's okay. But know that there are other people who are going through what you're going through, and you're not alone. And like, shoot, if you even want to message me or comment me, like, I'm here for you. I'll pray for you. Um, there's no reason why anybody should have to go through this alone. It's really hard, but with God and the right support, it's possible. My mom is my best friend too, and like, we don't know what's wrong with Flora yet. I mean, we know what's wrong with her, but we don't have a diagnosis. And she'll go on like international websites and look at studies, and like she's offered me my brother's stem cells that she has frozen, and she sends me all this useful stuff. And sometimes she just listens to me. Like if I just want to cry or I just want to be mad, she lets me let it out, and she never judges me for it. And she's always like, it's okay, if you want to say a bad word, say a bad word, let it out. Like sometimes you have to, and it's okay. People like that, it's important to have in your life so that other people can see you and they know, oh, God is working in her life. This is all going to happen for God's glory, and I'm asking him for a miracle, and I believe that he'll do it, and he'll get the glory when it happens. So instead of questioning him, which I still do sometimes, and I know it's not right, but I'm just being honest. But I don't think he gets offended. I think he appreciates that I'm honest with him. And then he gives me peace. And I cry, and then I say, I don't want to doubt you, God. Just be here with me. Just show me, show me that you're here. Show me that everything's going to be okay. And something... Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you an interesting story. You don't have to believe me, but it's true. I was taking my daughter for a walk, and I was praying. I was listening to like really good worship music. That's another thing that will help you when you're having a hard time. Find a good playlist. But I was praying and I was having such a good time, and I just felt good, I was having a good day, and it started to sprinkle. And I said, "Oh God, like I'm really enjoying this walk. I really needed this. I would love it if I could just finish this walk. You know, I know you can part seas and do all these miracles." And I just said it in my head. I was like, if it could just not rain, so we could finish our walk, that would be great. And it stopped sprinkling, right? So you're thinking, okay, whatever, it just stopped sprinkling. Coincidence? So I walked for a long time, had a really good walk, and then we got home. And as soon as the stroller and me were under the roof of our home, it started pouring, like pouring rain. And I thought, how funny, you know, you did that for me. And you may think it's silly, but I think it's real. And I know God is real. He always shows me little things. And I know He loves us and everything's going to be okay. So that's my message to you. Everything's going to be okay. You've got these awesome resources. There's a book that I am listening to on Audible, and it is Do the New You by Pastor Stephen Furtick. I know I talk about him a lot, but gosh, God has used him so much to help me in my life, and you should listen to him. If you ever need motivating, I'll link it in the linking area as well. But that book has really helped me. And one last thing, I think it's the last thing, is it's called the Bible app. And I know sometimes, well, for me, like it used to be boring to read the Bible and I would just get lost and my mind would wander. But it's really cool because every day it gives you just one verse and then somebody talks about it and explains it to you. And then it guides you through a prayer after. So if you are like, "Oh, I don't know how to pray," or "I feel silly," like it'll guide you through it. And it even, I still use it and it helps me connect with God. And it's funny because sometimes I'll just get random notifications like, from the Bible app, and it'll be just what I needed. And I know it's not just the Bible app. I know God is looking out for me. He always does that when I'm having a hard time. I know I'm talking a lot, but I can't stress enough to you how important it is to be close to God when you're struggling. And I'm just gonna tell you one more story. I was at the hospital for myself, not my daughter, and this guy came up to me, and I was on the phone with my mom, and he was talking, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, can't you see I'm on the phone? But he said, hey, um, I just want to tell you that God is with you and everything is going to be okay. And like my heart just stopped because I was struggling at that moment with my faith because there still were no answers for my daughter. So my mom, I don't know, we started talking. I started bawling. I started crying. And he was just like preaching to me and telling me these beautiful things that God wanted me to know. And he's like, I don't know your situation, but God wants me to tell you that things are going to be okay. And he's with you. And he started telling me his story, and he was homeless and he was addicted to drugs. He had lost his family, and God helped him. And now he's like a completely different person. He's got a job, he's got his family again. He has somewhere to live, and he just goes around telling people how much he loves God, because God has done a miracle in his life. And it was just a really beautiful reminder that I'm not alone and that God's with me and he's fighting with me, and he's got this. So my mom was on the phone the whole time, and then I talked to her and I'm like, did you hear that? And she's like, that was beautiful. And, we had this moment together, and he's so real. So don't be discouraged. If you're sad, be sad. If you have to cry, cry. If you have to throw an F-bomb, throw out that F-bomb. I'm not saying it's right, but don't hold all of this in. It's not good. And get close to God and have good support. Write things down. Read. And it's going to be okay. Look, I still don't know what's going on. I still don't know if my daughter will ever be okay. She's okay, but I don't know if my daughter will ever be able to move her body, or if my daughter will ever be able to, sit down or hold something with her hands, right? So it sucks, but I know that my God is greater than any disability, than any illness. And He knew me and her and you before you were born. He knows the number of hairs on our head. He knows what's going to happen in the future, and He already has a will for us, and He's on our side, and He loves us, and He's going to be there. So it's going to be okay. I'm telling you, I'm telling me. Just be on this journey with Him and take it day by day. Celebrate every day that you get by. It's okay to think about the future, but don't stay there, because He's not the God of the future or the past. He's the God of right now. So He's right here with you, and just take it step by step. Ask Him to be the light on your feet every day. You just stay focused step by step and put the right resources in front of you, because He'll only give you answers to things that you need in the season that He thinks it's okay. So it's not time for me yet, and that's okay. I'm still going to stay faithful, and I have peace throughout all this, and I hope you guys have peace too, and I hope God is with you, and I hope I helped. And if I didn't, I'm sorry. And if you have questions, just write them below. Bye.